To the Woods. Today, I'm excited. Trudy Dryden, who's been a friend of mine for, I don't know if it's been 10 years, Trudy, but it's going to get close here soon, I'm sure, since I took up traditional archery. Trudy is going to talk to us today, or have a conversation with us today, about 3D archery. And the reason why I was so excited to ask Trudy and was happy to have her accept my invitation is Trudy participated at the 2019 World 3D Archery Championships, and they were in Lac-La-Biche, Alberta, correct?
That's correct, yes.
And
yep, that's correct.
In the individual senior female instinctive class, is that right, Trudy?
That's right, Travis.
You got a bronze medal. And then
correct.
The women's team in the shoot-off round won silver. And I'm trying to remember, what was the country that you went up against in the gold medal round?
We went up against France.
France. And
yeah.
I'm going to quickly say that is available on the Archery Canada YouTube channel. If anybody wants to go and take a look at that shoot-off round, that's actually, I believe, still up on YouTube. So for any of you that are kind of interested what a shoot-off round is for team, it's there. You can check it out. I'm going to ask Trudy, can you tell us a little bit about what it was like shooting at a world championship? What were your feelings going into it and throughout, and just give us a little bit of a taste of what it was that you were doing there.
Okay. Yes, it certainly was a very exciting time. I think it was about nine days that we were there in Lac-La-Biche, and very small community, but a big heart, very supportive. Rene Shops did an excellent job organizing the event. Him and his wife were very much an integral part in all of that. And it just made all the archers feel so welcome. And, you know, you had a couple of days of practice, a couple of days before that you can have practice rounds. And we did that. And I know the first day we were practicing, of course, I'm always trying to feel that, trying to be as relaxed as possible. You know, and you know you're at a Worlds, but in the end, and just to go back just a little bit to say how did I feel about it before I went to the Worlds, and after I won at Nationals in Prince Albert,
right?
Then I called Rod Jenkins, because he had done a seminar for us, and so I called him and I said, okay, I've won at the Nationals. Now I'm getting ready for the Worlds. How do I practice? What do I do? Is there something I should be doing different?
Right.
And I'll never forget, he said 4 words to me. He says, it's just another tournament. And that just stuck with me. And that's what it was. It was just another tournament, and I was going to do my best, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
So first day, practice rounds, I happened to be standing next to, we were shooting, and I was on the line shooting next to Dwayne Martin, a big archer from United States.
Yep.
So we went down and got our arrows. My gosh, Robin Hood, my arrow. I said, you're Robin Hood, my arrow. And he said, well, he said, you shouldn't have put it in a good spot. And so that was kind of the joke, you know. And so next day we were out practicing again, and I happened to be standing next to him again. He looks back at me, he says, not you again. So, but anyways, I got him to autograph the arrow. So that was kind of a one-off, you know. So, yeah. But then you had, then
it's interesting.
Yes, go ahead.
Because, well, it's interesting. I kind of think to myself, you know, if for those that perhaps are new to 3D archery or pretty much only shooting recreationally, with not a whole lot of intent to compete at a higher level, it's
Right.
that type of story that's the type of thing. Although most of us aren't good enough to Robin Hood your arrow, don't get me wrong, but that's the type of story that happens at a lot of our shoots. It's a lot of kidding around, a lot of relaxed atmosphere. Everyone's friendly, even though you may be new to the group or from away. The community, the 3D archery community, I think, regardless of whether it's a regional tournament or a Canadian tournament, or in this case, a world championships, it sounds like
Right.
that feeling is kind of part and parcel of the archery tournament circuit. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, you make so many new friends, you meet so many new people all over the world, really, And so when you look down the line and all these people practicing, and you see everybody in their team uniforms practicing the different countries, and you kind of look at what they're doing, but at the same time, you're just focusing really on yourself.
Yeah.
But it is really such a nice feeling, right? It's just, you're just on the field with everybody else, really.
Yeah.
Practicing. So, and then the first day, the first day of the tournament round, it's what we call, you have 2 days of qualification rounds.
Right.
So the first day you shoot, you have a team of 4. And the first day I was shooting with a lady from Italy, Sabrina Vanini, and a lady from the United States, Sherry Pugh, and a lady from Norway, Linda Harold. And so we were a team of 4, and so then you shoot 24 targets and 2 arrows at each target.
Oh, okay.
And so I was going along shooting and just doing my best, having a great time. And when I come back to the building where all the archers were housed, people, my teammates were saying, "Oh, Trudy, congratulations!" And I thought, yeah, well, okay, I did my best, but it happened that I was on top of the leaderboard. I had placed first that day, and I thought, wow. But the next thing you think about, don't worry about that, because it's, yeah, exactly. So the next day, then they flight you, and so I was again shoot because Sabrina was second. I was first, and Sabrina was second.
Yep.
So the next day they flight you, and so I was shooting with Sabrina again, but then I was shooting with a girl from Austria, Karen Novi, and a girl from Hungary, and her first name is Peroska, and I'm not even going to attempt to say her last name. And so again, we were shooting, and as it turned out, I happened to be second on the leaderboard. Sabrina was first, and I was second. So for the individual elimination round, they look at the top 22, but the top 2 have a bye. Oh, okay. So I didn't have to shoot off anymore. So then archer number 3 to number 22 are shooting off for the elimination to see who's going to be archer number 3 and archer number 4.
Okay.
So then the following day, the 4 of us would shoot. And so it was myself and Sabrina and Karen Novi and Michaela Donaldi, I think her last name is, from Italy. So there were 2 ladies from Italy, Austria, and myself. Right. And four targets, 1 arrow at each target.
Oh, wow.
The total score determines whether you're going to be shooting the gold medal match or the bronze medal match.
Oh.
And then I happened to place third. So I had to shoot for the bronze medal match.
Right.
So that was something. And at the same time too, they use the qualification scores for the team event. So in the team event, they look at the scores for both days, and you'll have for your team, you have a compound shooter, longbow shooter, and an instinctive or barebow shooter.
Right.
And so the top female compound archer was Monica Higgins from Alberta. So she was on the team. And Miranda Sparks was the top female for Canada in longbow. So she was on the team. And I happened to be, my scores were better than the barebow score. So I was the instinctive shooter then. Right. So then the top 8 countries would go in for the shoot off. So again, we would have to shoot off. So in the top 8 countries, we were United States, Spain, Canada, and as a matter of fact, Canada placed 5th out of 8. We were 5th out of 8, and Austria, Sweden, France, Slovenia, and Italy. So then, for the team event, the first country we shot off again, just four targets, yep, and 1 arrow at each target.
Right.
And so we were Canada versus Austria, and we won by 3 points. So we were going into the next round, and then we had to shoot the United States, and we won by 12 points. No, 10 points. We won by by 12 points. So that was exciting, because now Canada, the Canadian team, we were going for the gold medal match.
Right.
And so that was great.
Yeah.
So then the last day, of course, then when you have your medal matches, yeah, that's when you get all the locals are there. I mean, they've got, look, Travis, when you walk out on the field, you see yourself on this huge billboard, electronic billboard, and you see yourself walking out, and the commentators are saying your name and where you're from, and it's like, and you see all these people, they're just going to watch what you're doing, right? So it can be a little nerve-wracking, I can tell you.
Hey.
And but anyways, the first thing you have to do is just stay, I'm here to shoot, and just block all of that out, really, is what you have to do. Yeah. But so myself and Sabrina, we were on the line for the shoot off for the individual medals.
Yep.
And so they had Kong targets, and then they had Reinhardt targets.
Right.
So, and on the field, they might have had maybe 12 different targets. So the judge will tell you, okay, you're going to shoot at this target. Like, you don't know which target you're going to be shooting. Right. They just randomly pick a target. Right. So, and I seen this nice jumping deer and a Kong target. And I said, wow, I hope I get to shoot that target. Well, sure enough, that was target number 1 for us. And I felt pretty good at it. I felt I was doing everything right. Travis, I missed. Arrow sailed right over the top and into the lake, because there was a lake behind there.
Oh.
And Sabrina said, I know. And Sabrina shot a 5. And I could just, in my mind, in the background, I could just hear Bob up in the stand, like, what did you do there? But I'm sure he didn't use those words. Anyway, so first thing I did right away, split second, forget that. It's gone.
Yep.
I've got 3 more targets to shoot.
Yep.
So the next one was a small little target. I can't remember what it was. And then Sabrina missed.
Ooh.
And I shot a 5. So we were even.
So we're even after 2 targets.
And then, yes.
Yeah.
So, and then the third target was that little honey bear, that little, and so we both shot, and we both shot fives. So still even.
Yep.
Then we had the target. It was the Reinhardt target, the dinosaur.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, the dinosaur. So, anyways, Sabrina shoots fairly quick, fairly fast. So she shot, and she shot an 8.
Ooh.
So I had to do better than that. So, anyways, look, Travis, I went through my form, I set up and everything, and all of a sudden I'm starting to shake like this. And I said, "Oh, Trudy, put down, start again." I looked at the clock, I had 30 seconds left. I
Yep.
said, "You have lots of time, take your time, take a deep breath, just, do your form again and do the whole process."
Yeah.
And I went up and I said, "Okay, this is it." And I went through and shot, and I had a 10. Well, I tell you, Travis, that was some emotional release there, so that was great.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
It's one of those things.
It was really, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the guys and girls who watch any of these that I do are hunters primarily, and we're talking about a buck fever that probably has no real limit under those circumstances. I mean, you really, to center yourself enough after a miss on the first target, Trudy, would be incredible. But for that build up to come to the last dinosaur target and know that she had shot an 8, and many traditional archers, I think that's, well, I'm going to be careful here, but for a traditional archer to let down and then restart, that takes a lot of training and mental fortitude in and of itself. So it sounds like you were on your game, honestly, mentally, while you were on that line.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
yeah. No,
that's part of the story
Yeah.
we don't see when we're watching it, right? We can only hear it from you. It's amazing.
Right. And, yeah. So then that was great. That was one. And then I was fortunate enough to be on the Canada team.
Right.
And we were going for the gold medal match, and Monica is a very strong archer, and she can judge distance like nobody can. It's unbelievable. And because I know we were on the practice range, Rene had allowed us to go to his place, and he had some targets set up, so Team Canada could kind of practice on our own, like.
Right.
And so we'd stand at a distance and kind of do this practice. How are we going to shoot on a team event? Who's going to shoot first? Who's going to shoot second? Because again, it's a timed event, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So Monica, being the compound, she would be shooting at a farther stake. So we agreed that she should shoot first. And so she did. And when we were practicing, she was shooting, and our team captain said, I think that's because you can discuss distance with your teammates.
Yeah. And
so our team captain said, I think it's maybe 35 yards or 35 meters.
Yep.
And Monica would say, "No, I think it's 38 meters. You put the rangefinder on, she's spot on."
Right.
It's unbelievable. So we decided then, so obviously she would shoot first, and she'd tell us what she shot it for. So if she made a good shot, then we can kind of range in, especially for me, because where I would do some gap shooting, I could kind of range in, okay, like where should I be holding?
Yeah.
And then I would shoot second, and Miranda, the longbow shooter, would shoot third. So that's how we did it.
Right.
And as it turned out, we ended up with silver, so France has a very strong team.
Yeah.
There's some countries up there that really, when they come to a Worlds, they come with a support team. They have their doctor, their masseuse maybe, and their psychologist with them. Well, Canada's not there yet, right? So we have our team captain and our team and each other kind of that we can work with, right? So,
yeah.
But anyways, we were extremely pleased and obviously very happy with how Canada performed, really, So
without a doubt,
it was really something.
It was, and for for us locals, not to make too much of it, but for the Maritime archers, knowing and following you at Worlds, that we were excited. I mean, it was something, get the updates, and that, I mean, it meant a lot. I think to a lot of archers here in the Maritimes to know that you were there.
Well, I guess I didn't really realize that as much, except after I won and all the messages I got on Facebook. It was overwhelming. It was just so unbelievable to see so many of my archery friends, like you say, here in the Maritimes, supporting and congratulating me, right? It was just, it was something. Yeah. And, for years, well, Bob and I are both very competitive archers. So sure. you shot with us, and he's not going to give me a...
Yeah, I've been there.
So, so anyways, and he's been helping me, training and that sort of thing, along with, I've had training before. When I first started archery, I was using compound bow. That's how we both started. Yeah. And then I had a training course from Dave Cousins. We had Dave Cousins come down to New Brunswick and give us a seminar. Yep. And then recently, a couple of years ago, obviously way back, I switched over from compound into traditional longbow, and then lately I switched over to recurve because I was going in the instinctive category for nationals and worlds. So, and so then we had Rod Jenkins come to New Brunswick to give us a 2-day seminar, and that was great to get actually some coaching from a professional, and he practiced. He gave us some drills that we should practice. And one of those drills, obviously, was the let down drill. You put your, as if you're going to shoot and let down, force yourself, to put the bow down. And so that was helpful. And then he also strongly recommended to me that I should, because I was always shooting split fingers. Strongly recommended that I should shoot 3 under. So I did. I switched 3 under, and he said, try it, but not just for a couple of weeks. Really give it a good try, and I did. Yeah. And now I wouldn't switch back. I'm going to stay 3 fingers under. And then after that we had.
May I ask? That's just a wonderful little lead, and I'll maybe get a little bit of a clarification on it, because I do know that when asked by new traditional archers about, how should I get started? How should I will often say, if you're going to be looking at either A, hunting with your trad gear, or B, staying in inside of 30-meter ranges, such as for 3D competition, that the 3 under is probably the better choice for a new archer. Less finger pinch, a little more, a lot of little coaching things. We don't have to get into great detail. And then the split finger seems to me to be more of a field slash FIDA style release. How do you see the difference between the two as far as that?
Well, for me, 3 fingers under, what Rod Jenkins was telling us is it just brings the arrow closer to your eye.
Yes.
So for gap shooting, and so because I still keep my same anchor,
Right.
I didn't change any anchor. My anchor point wasn't changing. It's
Right.
just keeps the arrow closer to your eye. So you're right. Any new archer that come to us looking for training or help, we recommend 3 fingers under as well, simply for that reason, because it puts the arrow closer to your eye, and it could maybe help them, enjoy archery more right at the beginning.
A little more, anything to make them more successful right out of the gate, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I know.
So, and then a couple of years, I think 2 years after the Rod Jenkins seminar, no, the following year, we brought in Larry Wise, and he's also from the United States, but he's more of Olympic style coach, target coach.
Yep.
But I thought, I'm going to take training from him too, because archery is all the same, and just see what he has to offer. And so for years, and you're going to laugh about this, for years, Bob's been always trying to tell me, relax your bow hand. Don't grip your bow with your bow hand so tight.
Right.
He said, you're gripping the bow. I said, I'm not doing that. I said, my hand is relaxed. And for years, he said, you're gripping the bow. And using very strong language too. And I said, I'm not doing it. So I went to Larry Wise, and of course he takes video of everybody shooting, and then he analyzes what you're doing and trying to give you some pointers what you could work on to make yourself a better archer.
Yeah.
Well, lo and behold, I'm gripping the bow like nobody's business. So he said, well, we got to fix that. He said, we got to fix that. So right. I said, okay. So before I left the seminar, I had a pretty good idea how I had to continue practicing to, have a relaxed bow hand.
Yeah.
So I come home. Bob says, so what did you learn? I said, I know. I said, I was gripping the bow. Oh, he said, is that what you were doing? And I said, yeah, I guess that's what I was doing, And well, I guess don't laugh, Travis. The camera doesn't lie, right?
No, the camera doesn't lie.
So no. So I'm constantly working on that.
Yeah.
Keeping a relaxed bow hand. And of course, for years at the beginning when we first started, there was really no coaching or anything like that. And I know Eugene LaPlante from Bathurst had put us onto the CDs, Masters of the Bear Bow.
Right.
We watched those and picked up things the best what we could on that.
Yep.
And listened to a lot of YouTube videos and books and things like that. And that's on those CDs. That's where we come across with that Four-Master, or they call it shot. Some people call it the shot trainer.
Yep.
And when Rod Jenkins did the seminar with us, he brought one up and he actually showed us. He got us all to use it,
Yep.
And well, I gave you one too,
yep.
and to try, and that was a great little tool, just to make sure you have good back tension and that. Yep. So,
yeah.
And then when I was getting ready for the Worlds, or a couple of years before the Worlds, when I realized the Worlds wasn't going to be in Alberta, I said, okay, that's a goal that I really would like to accomplish, to be there, make the Canadian team, and go to the Worlds. So I had shot a number of nationals before, and I had seen this guy, Fred Sturlock, who was an instinctive shooter and always at the top of the leaderboard at the nationals, winning nationals, and he was a good friend of Ray Murdoch, and when we were at a tournament and we were kind of talking, and Ray said, "Oh yeah, Fred is really good, and he helps anybody and anything." So I thought, well, maybe I should give him a call, because I know he had gone to the Worlds a couple of times, and so I wanted to know kind of what to expect. What does it feel like? What should I be doing? And so Fred and I have had several conversations, and he had recommended different instinctive bows, like companies. So because with the riser and the limbs and that, so then he was helpful that way. So I end up getting a trad tech from Lancaster Archery, and then since then I have a Dryad riser from Dryad. Mike Westfane was very good to me in that way, and that's what I used to shoot at the World. Was my Dryad riser was an ILF riser, and then I had win-win limbs on it. So so that's kind of where I, different people that you talk to give you different points, help. I found in the archery community, a lot of people are willing to talk to you about archery and give them their input and what works for them and what didn't work for them, or what you could try and that sort of thing. And it's the same thing what Bob and I do. Like, if anybody asks, we try to help people out as much as we can. We're very passionate about archery. It's a big part of our life, really. So
without a doubt, and half the reason, certainly I wanted to help share that your success, but at the same time, you and Bob are perfect examples of our Maritime traditional archery community, right? And if I remember correctly, little point out, you guys did start the Maritime Traditional Archery Facebook page and website, right? Is that right? Yeah.
Right, we did, yes.
Yeah, and this is a spot.
That's correct. Yeah.
For a lot of people think about provinces, just Nova Scotia or just New Brunswick or just the traditional archery community is such that we work more as a maritime group, because we do get together frequently enough at shoots, or in and around. We haven't been over to PEI a whole lot lately, but I think that's changing. I think we'll see after this whole Corona. Listen, what am I trying to say?
COVID, yeah.
COVID. That's it.
COVID.
COVID. Once COVID's all sort of cleared up, I think we'll probably end up seeing more opportunities for traditional archers to venture over to PEI. And really, PEI has, and that's not where I was trying to lead, but it worked out quite well. Nationals are going to be in PEI, when I should say they were supposed to be in PEI last summer, and were canceled for the reasons we understand with COVID-19. And they're scheduled for July of this year, still scheduled. We're waiting with bated breath to see if that's still going to go on without any hitches. And we'll see if it does take place this summer or potentially next summer. And that's an opportunity for new archers to start thinking about it. But if I'm not mistaken, you and I spoke quickly about it the other day, New Brunswick is slated for 2 years after the PEI. Is that right? 2 or 3?
Right. Two. So after PEI, it goes to British Columbia, and then it comes to New Brunswick. So in 2023, it'll be in New Brunswick if 2021 happens in PEI.
Right.
If not, we probably move out another year again. But that's kind of how that's the rotation.
So, and for all archers, for all archers, and I think this is something that maybe it's not fully understood. You have to make the Canadian team in order to go to the World Championships. However, to go to the national championships, it's our traditional, or not traditional, sorry, our archery 3D championships are the same for outdoor FIDA as well as field. They all take place at the same time in the same locale, but at different venues within the province. But they're not invitation only, are they? It's almost recreational. You can just show up to a Canadians if you've registered ahead of time. Is that right? Am I getting that correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's correct. Yes, they are. Anybody can attend the Canadian National Championship. You just register. Now, the national championships are going to, the format is going to change a little. They're going to try to mimic the format for the Worlds a little bit more, so that people, so that archers who are striving to go to international competitions get a sense of how it's run, and get that feeling. So it's in PEI. I think PEI is going to be the first nationals that is going to have, they're going to look at the new format and see how that works. So again, would be 2 days of shooting 24 arrows instead of 4 rounds of 20, or shooting 80 targets sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, and it'd be like qualification and some elimination rounds.
Yep.
I'm not sure. I have never attended one like that yet here in Canada, so I'm not sure how that's all going to work out, but that's kind of where it's going.
That's
talking about and talking about archery and talking about new archers here, I think it was maybe 2 years ago or so. Anyways, we were shooting at a tournament. I think you might have been there too, in Jolly Tree Farm there in Nova Scotia. Joe Wynn and Vernon Globe, they always have a tournament there.
Yep.
And there were 2 new women archers there. Dorothy and Jennifer were there, and they were new, and actually they were shooting with their horse bow, because they're both ladies. They, that's horses is one of their passions. So anyways, we got chit-chatting with them, and they were asking us questions and all of that. And so now they've started their own club.
That's right.
Called Down by the Bay in Parsbro. It's another traditional club.
Yep.
So there's more women coming into archery all the time. I'm in the last couple of years, like it's really getting a lot stronger, because you have Marlene Gavel at Breton Traditional Archers, and you have Jay Rodding at Highland Bow and Arrow.
Yeah.
And these ladies aren't just shooting, they're not just shooting for the fun of it. They're competitive.
Yeah.
They really they're looking to be on the leaderboard. So
it's interesting that you say that, because
go ahead.
I know that your background, the way the story goes is I think 1997. I think I'm pulling that date out of the back of my head. That's when you and Bob started shooting together as a couple. It was something you thought that you might enjoy doing together. And I think that is happening over and over and over again. The number of couples or newlyweds or whatever the case might be that are taking up the sport of archery, and then finding out that the women in the group or in the couple is the one that actually ends up kind of wanting to go back, wanting to get a little bit better. They're sort of the drive of a lot of the couples that I know that have taken up the sport. And I applaud it. I'm happy to see anybody shooting, of course, new archers. But you're right, there is a real uptick, if you will, in the number of female archers. I think in the Maritimes, I can't speak for all of Canada, of course, but in the Maritimes, it certainly does seem like that's happening. So something I hope we take advantage of, because, I mean, anything that helps the sport grow, of course. We need a new Hollywood movie. That's what we need. With those Hollywood movies with archery always did a great job giving us a little bit of a boost. Before we kind of sign off today, Trudy, I'm going to ask a little favor, if you don't mind. Seeing as how that I'm in the back of my head, I have sort of trying to commit to myself to try and see how far I can go myself competitively. I'm been planning to go to the nationals in Prince Edward Island, but they've been postponed, so we'll see when that happens. But I'm committed to going there and testing myself as a new left-hander. Would you mind terribly showing, if you have them handy, your silver and bronze medal? I would love to see what a world championship medal looks like. Are they anywhere nearby?
Oh yes, they are. Yes, I can show you.
Oh my.
Yeah, Scott. Yeah. It's hard to see which one is gold and which one is bronze, but yeah. And they're heavy.
They're heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
I love it. I love it. Well,
they have some weight to it. Yes.
Yeah. I want to take the opportunity to congratulate you once again on such a fine performance. And I know that the Maritime archery community is very, very proud to call you one of ours. And I'm also thankful for all of the help you've mentored me and continue to mentor me anytime we get together. I love having conversations with you because you and Bob are competitive minded. And I appreciate that a great deal myself as I kind of walk the line, I think, between that sort of more recreational, having fun and competitive, and having you two to keep me on my toes. I'm very, very fortunate to call you both friends. So thank you for joining me today. I hope maybe you and I might talk again, and even that old man of yours, we might see if we get him on sometimes, and maybe go over some technique stuff for people that are interested. So thank you, Trudy. I really, really do appreciate you coming on today.
One last thing, if there's any new archers out there thinking about, gee, I don't know if this is something I'd like to do. I'm always saying, go to a tournament, even if you come and watch as a spectator, or go to any tournament. At most tournaments, the organizers, they'll say, shoot at where you're comfortable. You don't have to shoot at the stake. Shoot close up. Make sure you have fun. That's the big thing, is to have fun. And then, because some people just want to shoot for fun, and that's fine. That's just great. Other people want to do better and be competitive, and that's great too, So, there's something there for everyone, really.
That's the true story of it, isn't it? That a archery competition doesn't necessarily have to be terribly competitive for you as a new archer. It's about going out and enjoying your time afield with other like-minded individuals, and that's a good way to end. I agree.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You meet some great people on the in a competition, in an archery tournament, at an event, and as you're walking through the woods, they're telling you secrets and stories that you would normally not hear anywhere else, and you really get to know people, really. So it's one of those bonuses and pluses of archery, really.
Yeah. No, 100%. Well, thank you, Trudy, and we will talk again very, very soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so very quickly, that was, I admit, I think I've called all of them my favorite interviews. Speaking with Trudy today about her experience at the World Championships and what it took for her to be able to kind of get to that stage and how she felt while she was there. I hope it it starts putting ideas perhaps in other archers' heads about maybe making it a goal to at least go to a Canadian Championships, and then perhaps, work towards perhaps making Team Canada and going to a World Championship. It's something that's itching in the back of my mind. It's something I'd really like to do, and I had a hiccup with breaking my arm, but it's been something that's kind of kept me going, and so now I'm going to see if perhaps I can turn that into something. Trudy realized afterwards that when she was holding up her medals, that I had asked her if she had handy. When she held them up and she was speaking, she accidentally said gold and bronze rather than silver and bronze, and she always being a very, very humble person, wanted to be sure that you guys understood that it was a silver and a bronze medal, and that she had misspoke when she said gold. So I don't think any of us would have thought any less of her, but mistakes are made, and she wanted to be sure that was clarified, and I can understand why. Thank you, Trudy, for your time again. I hope perhaps to have you on again in a little bit of the after show, some ideas about perhaps having some of the women of archery on a multi panel. I think that's a great idea. So much so that I'm mentioning it here, and maybe we might try to get that together and talk specifically about women in archery here in the Maritimes and how we might be able to get more women involved. So yeah, look out for that one. I love the idea. And Bob, always in the background. Trudy mentioned Bob a few times, her husband, and they got doing archery together, as we spoke about. And for couples, I think it is an absolutely fantastic activity. Get you outside, get you some social time, and exercise. It is an excellent opportunity for families, individuals, couples to get out and try something new. And everyone can have enough success, that's what I believe, in order to have a very good time. Not everybody has to try and become a world medalist in order to enjoy themselves, but the local circuits are just so much fun, and the community itself is one that I am proud to belong to, and not thinking about leaving it anytime soon. So everybody, thank you for watching again today, and for all of your guys' support. I appreciate it. To the woods. See you soon.